almost seems like the first half is like him being like, sun's out, ego's out, feeling great. Hello there, you adrenal, analytical, armchair armies. My name is Comedian, as it were foretold in the olden days. And this week's song is all about the ego, which is funny because I basically lost mine about 8 years ago, along with all of my creativity and self-belief. It's funny how the ego, there's a fine line between ego where, you sort of believe in yourself a bit, but you can still be introspective and self-reflective, and then ego where you have none of that and you're just a massive knob. And there's kind of a lot of happiness in between these two stages, then some unhappiness at the top, unhappiness below, where there's no ego at all. Ego is very complicated, but I think I don't need to say this because I imagine BTS are about to say this for me, hopefully, making all of my words and existence maybe irrelevant, but that's kind of BTS's job in this universe, and yeah, I like it. It takes the pressure off of the rest of us normies, doesn't it, quite a bit? I don't know what I'm saying anymore, which is a great time to advertise my Patreon. You can send me money, and you can see more videos on there where I don't know what I'm saying about stuff. It's a good time. It's in the description. Please and thank you. So yeah, that's done. That was terrible. Make sure you subscribe, of course, and thank you to a few people who recommended I do this. I did Shadow and I did Persona, so this is like the holy trinity of psychology-related stuff. So thanks to a few people who recommended this. Thanks to Sharon de Leon, Lynn Pollock, and Mara R, and everyone else who mentioned this. Thank you very much, guys. I absolutely loved Sugar's Shadow. I loved RM's Persona. I think I've forgotten who does this one. I'm guessing it's another solo song. It would be weird if they didn't give somebody else a chance to shine, but we'll see. We'll see. Let's see where this is going. Let's do this, guys. Oh, the bubbles are back. What a relief. I just watched Film Out, and it was, I'm still mourning the loss of the bubbles, but they still live on.
We're now going to progress to some steps which are a bit more difficult. Ready?
Is this a lyric video? Ooh, oh man. It's funny because like the editing in Persona was like fantastic and a really kind of like showy like team of people maybe worked on this way. This editing is great in like a kind of like funky like one creative person with a scrapbook and some big ideas set off for the big city with Adobe Premiere and knocked this out. Like it's really cool so far. Little like BTS flag, and they even integrated the bubbles again. I'm guessing Hitman Bang was like, well, I know you think you integrated the bubbles in the intro, but I'm sorry, we're going to have to use the bubbles normally, alright? They are sacred! Do not touch the bubbles. You can have them in the intro, but the normal ones shall play before that too. Double the bubble. Double bubble, toil and trouble. This is actually already fascinating to me because I was just saying earlier how I was thinking back, well, I guess in a roundabout way, thinking back to, how my ego has changed over the years. And that's pretty much the very first concept in this song. So I'm already a happy chappy. True, true. Yep. This is why there's now whole strains of therapy that revolve around giving people, crazy psychedelics that doctors would have fainted at the sight of, 40 years ago, or even 10 years ago, and putting them in a nice chair and being like, what crazy memories does your eye and brain see? Legolas, what memories does your third eye see? Kind of thing. And because, the things that we hold on to, the things our subconscious throws out at us are so relevant, they're so important. It's always the universe or your subconscious or whatever you want to believe in trying to give you a message like, this is the stuff that matters. You didn't fix it 10 years ago. You haven't fixed it now. Fix it!
How much love, how much joy? I don't care, 전부 내 운명의 선택, so we're here.
Interesting. It's kind of like fatalist or whatever it is. I'll just throw out some words that sound like psychology concepts until I sound cool. This is fatalist or feudalist or tribalist. It's all of the above. But he's saying, oh, who cares? It's just choices by my fate. It's that ego. It's like the ego thing where you're just like, whatever, I don't really have control over this. The way I take this is it's a very fascinating thing about the ego, which is that to let the ego flourish sometimes, you have to basically get into this mindset where everything you do is correct, which obviously is never true, which is why it's very difficult as a creative person, or really anyone, to try and find that fine balance between having an insane ego where you basically become like a horrible person no one wants to be around, having no ego where you don't believe in yourself at all and nobody wants to be around you because your eyes scream pick someone else. Like, it's so hard to find that gray area, but a part of the ego is kind of just learning to trust yourself, or thinking, or maybe even thinking stuff to fate, like, well, I chose stuff but it was just fate, so whatever, it happened.
So we're here. 내 앞을 봐.
This is a really wacky music video.
Going now.
I did not expect this beat to be like this. It's fun. So now the question is, we're almost halfway through this song, is it going to become a duality thing? Because it almost seems like the first half is like him being like, sun's out, ego's out, feeling great, nothing to worry about. But obviously the ego is more complex than that. And I know that J-Hope is more complex than that. Is that little young J-Hope? Cute. This is really, really interesting. It's almost like, I haven't seen the full song yet, so I can't comment, but it's actually not really what I expected, because it almost seems to be more about, like, I don't know how to phrase this, like, not being like, I finally found my ego, so life is swimming and great and stuff. And like I said, it could still turn around. There's still time for that crazy duality to come out. I guess we'll see. But it's almost talking about, progression in life, and how one form of an ego can be that you spent your whole childhood doubting yourself, and then finally you get to a stage where you suddenly trust yourself. And that kind of seems like what it's about so far.
이제 I don't care, 전부 내 앞을 봐. Don't waste time. Keep going now.
Because I really can't decide if this is like a positive message, or if it's almost like quite a reckless message, but deliberately, artistically kind of being like, I'm in the ego stage, everything I do is great, everything's fine, the future's great kind of thing. But as we all know, like, while you have happiness and ego and self-belief, you think to yourself, I shall feel this way forever. But then obviously it can be taken away, or it can go away just as quickly as it came. It's almost like, I quite like this in a way, like the way I'm seeing it now is it's almost like reclaiming the word ego, because I think the word ego is quite stigmatized, but it shouldn't have to be, because as I was saying earlier, ego is a very complex spectrum, and I think as humans, we can't really exist without it, like not in a way that, is beneficial, is healthy. Obviously, once your ego gets insane out of control, then it becomes damaging to yourself and other people. But if nobody had any ego, nobody would have the self-confidence, the awareness, the self-belief, the motivation to step up and help other people too, to connect with other people, to share laughter, to share happiness, that kind of stuff. So in a way, I kind of see it like he's kind of reclaiming the word ego, like he's kind of, or he's like, it's like this version of ego is like, it's the healthy blend. It's the trusting in yourself. It's doing things your way. He hasn't said anything about like, and screw anyone else. So I support it. Okay, that was really surprising. I guess considering like Shadow and Persona songs, I had kind of like a preconceived notion about where that song would go, and it didn't really go there. I still really liked it, and the visuals are really, really cool as well. I still think out of the three, Persona is definitely my favorite. I think Shadow is also probably my second favorite. So sorry, J-Hope, but you're still third place. I know it's out of three, but we're still third place out of three very good songs. So that's still good. I mean, it's also very possible, very probable even, that, I just missed an immense amount of meaning from that song. But my own take on Ego is just, it's such a insanely complicated thing. There's such a huge amount of depth to it. That song, for me, like, I took that as very much more personal, kind of like J-Hope sharing, like, I used to self-doubt myself, and now I understand finally who I am, which I think is also a great message. But I was kind of hoping for a song about the ego that went in depth as Sugar or RM's. But you can't always have what you wish for. Maybe that was just my own ego expecting too much of J-Hope's ego and other nonsense mental and philosophical concepts like that. So I hope you enjoyed my reaction, guys. Please let me know what you think of this song, what it means to you. I'm very, very curious, because obviously there's a lot more to it than meets the eye, certainly than meets my eye, especially because my eyes are mostly trained on the small black lyrics bar, which obviously means I can't take all of it in. But yeah, thanks so much for suggesting that one. Do keep your suggestions coming. Make sure you are subscribed to my channel and you have clicked the little bell. Tingle, tingle. I'm like a YouTube shopkeep. Hello, what can I get for you today? You come in and you ring the bell, and that's how this works. It's the 21st century, it's 2021, and these days you have to click the YouTube bell to get my attention, maybe. And make sure you do check out my Patreon in the description. I've got loads of fun, exclusive content on there, as well as the fun and exclusive content which is getting to help make my channel exist and to put terrible frozen food on my table, because I don't have the attention span or self-care to cook properly. Anyway, until the next reaction / existential crisis video, have a lovely day. I'll see you later. Bye bye. And remember, if you like this ego reaction, then click subscribe to help me grow traction.